How did that happen? I've muted it. That was so weird. How did that happen? I've muted it. Oh, I'm live on two windows. Good morning, Ruth. How are you? And good evening from a very cold Tasmania. It's brr. It's actually the first day that it feels like winter. I'm just going to close my little door that separates the living areas to the hallway where the bathroom and the spare bedrooms are because it's brr. Now, I'm live on Traces of Nuts tonight. Like, that's the channel I'm watching with YouTube. So I am live over on the Shxtty Kitty Kitchen too. But tonight, come over to Traces of Nuts. It's hot for you. Oh, it's brr here. Now, it's Sunday night, so it's time to make some dinner. Get a glass. I'm still drinking from this same bottle of wine. Look, you can't probably see. Maybe you can. The ring light's not helping. Oh, look at the ring light on my glass. Little circle. But yeah, Sunday night cooking, so let's have a glass of wine, right? It's not going to be a super long live because it's not going to be a super long dish, but cheers, everybody. Oh, hang on, that's where the camera is. And happy Sunday morning, and also July the 4th. For people in America, it is now the 4th of July, I know, at least in New York. So tonight we are making Yosham Ottolenghi's curried lentil, tomato and coconut soup out of his book, Simple. We've already made this one before on here, the courgette, pea and basil. We're doing this one. And I'll just show you a picture of what it's hopefully going to look like. It should eventually look something like that. It's a chunky soup. It's not a blended soup. But if people like to puree their soups, you can. It's entirely up to you. Yosham's little preface at the start. I like the rough texture of this soup with the lentils still holding their shape and the coriander distinct. But you can also blitz it before serving if you prefer things smooth. This soup can be made 4 days in advance if kept in the fridge, so that's handy to know. If you're having a dinner party or something and you wanted to do a soup entree, make it 4 days or 3 days in advance. It'll be perfectly fine, which probably means it'll stay in the fridge for up to 4 days. It's not a massive amount of ingredients, so I'm not using like a huge saucepan. It's like my middle-sized one. I don't think you need to use your big, massive pot because in terms of liquid, it's got a tin of coconut milk and a tin of chopped tomatoes. We might be adding a second tin of chopped tomatoes, but that's about the only variation, and that's a recommendation from my friend Andrew, who thoroughly recommends this recipe, and that's what he said he did, just to chunk it up a little bit. You can also freeze this soup for up to a month. One thing I love about Yosham is this book, Simple. Yes, purists would use lentils, dried lentils, and give them a good wash and then put them in a pot of water for like 10 minutes and sort of skim all the things that come up from the lentils. But he's more than happy for everyone just to crack open a can of lentils. So it is Sunday night. That is what we are going to be doing. And I'm also going to do some cheating dinner rolls. They're really yummy, that will heat up and have with it. So I'll whack the oven on in a little while. They only take 3 to 5 minutes to cook, so I won't heat the oven up just yet. Could be just you and me, Ruth. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. Pardonnez-moi. Now, first up, we are going to chop up an onion. I like making soups. I was thinking about it earlier. People that think they can't cook, start with something like a soup, because soups are really hard to muck up and they can be amazingly delicious. And if you get a really good recipe like this one is, apparently, the flavors and everything that you create, you'll be like, holy shit, I'm I'm an awesome cook. I made this. I'm just going to get a little bowl. As you guys know, I like to put my composty things into a little bowl as I'm cooking. So just give me a moment because I didn't get one of those ready. But yeah, soups are a good way to start cooking, and it's a really good way to get veggies into your diet as well. And I mean, in winter, soups are amazing. I love soups in summer too, but I do the more sort of lighter ones like gazpachos even. But yeah, they're pretty yummy. I can't handle how pasty my skin is in winter. I feel like I should fake tan my hands because they're sort of that horrible wintry pink colour. Not liking them. Need some chooks. Well, I'm happy actually that my compost feeds my wildlife, Deb. How are you doing, gorgeous? Have you had a nice weekend? God, those Sunday nights come around fast, don't they? You've never heard of tinned lentils, Ruth? You buy them they're sort of in the same aisle as all the tinned, like chickpeas and all of that sort of stuff. I did actually buy a bag of lentils, which I was going to use, and then I was reading the back of it, and it was like, simmer them for 10 minutes and skim off all the lentil trimmings, like bits of lentil and stuff, and I was like, I can't be bothered, it's Sunday night. So I went back down to the shop and just got a little tin of lentils, and I've just rinsed them and drained them and given them a bit of a rinse out of the can. So yeah, you can't get tinned lentils in London, really? That's kind of bizarre. But yeah, chooks, I would like to get chooks for the eggs, but there's so many people down here with chooks with eggs already that, it's just as easy. Like my friend Shxtty's got chooks, so there's no shortage of eggs. The little co-op's got a little chook house. Sorry, I'm making a bit of a mess here. I just want to pull the base of the onion out too. That snuck in. All good, honey. Sending big hugs. Well, big hugs back to you too, Deb. You're going to get some because you've got so many scraps. Yeah, they're great for getting rid of scraps for sure. Now, I'm not going to be overly precious with finely chopping onions. You guys should know by now I'm pretty rustic and I actually like chunky things in my soup, especially ones that you're not going to blend. I'm happy for the chunk. So we're going to just turn the element on to a medium to high heat, and like I said, I'm using a medium-sized saucepan. It's not like the biggest one in my thing. You don't need to use a gigantic one. And we'll just let that heat up for a little while. And we're going to be using coconut oil, but if you're not a coconut oil person, you can use sunflower oil, is the oil he suggests. But I'm about the coconut oil, and it is, of course, a curried lentil, tomato, and coconut soup. So, we want 2 tablespoons of oil. So either the coconut oil or if you want to use sunflower oil, that's fine as well. And I'm just guesstimating 2 tablespoons. You can measure it if you want, but don't be too precious with things like how much oil you use in a soup. Like if it's a bit under 2 tablespoons, it's not going to fuck it up. And if it's a bit over, it won't. Mel, hello, gorgeous. Morgan said you're still not 100%. I'm sorry I haven't sent you a message. I thought about you today when I was live. I was like, I really should check in on you. And Morgan was in the live and said that you're still not fully mended. I hope you feel better soon, gorgeous. I'm making a soup. Isn't it a bugger I can't send you a care package? Soup's great when you're not feeling great. Did you have a nasty flu thing? Because I've got a couple of friends who caught flus and they're still sick. Like one of them has been sick for 8 weeks. She just can't shake it. So we're just heating up this pot at the moment and just watching the coconut oil melt. Now, in other parts of Australia, coconut oil, even in winter, is liquefied. But in Tasmania, because it's so cold, our coconut oil is always like solid. But yeah, in other parts of Australia, it's always a liquid that you can just literally just pour. but not in cold Tassie. You're going to make a ham and veg soup. Yep, good girl. Don't tell Deb I never give my chook scraps. Well, I just did. Sorry. Oh, even your tongue is sore. Oh, Mel, no, you poor thing. Well, get some soup of love. Hey, Ozzy, good to see you, gorgeous. What did I see? Ruth has Googled and discovered that you can buy tinned lentils. Well, there you go. This is such an easy recipe too, but my friend Andrew, the one whose sister-in-law, it was her funeral during the week, he, before the funeral, he's like, Tori, you've got to make this soup. And I thought I had, but I've made a different Yosham one before, which is also lentils, but it's a lentil yogurt and lemon soup, and it's so good. I've just got a message from StreamYard saying my reception's pretty average. That's because my laptop is sort of wedged in the corner over here. Hopefully it's disappeared again. 8 freaking weeks, screw that. I go to the shops and come home and I'm stuffed for hours. Yeah, that's what they've been saying too. And one of them can't get rid of this little sort of dry cough, and the other one is really tired all the time. So I'm so sorry, poor thing. I hate being sick at the best of times, but you've got a whole family to look after and feed and all that sort, all the housework, and not much fun. All right, so the coconut oil's nice and hot now, so I'm just going to chuck in the onion. And we're actually going to cook the onion. We're going to fry it for 8 minutes until it is soft and caramelized. We actually want it caramelized. So this isn't just cooking the onion till it's tender. This is caramelizing it. That's obviously going to be my tricky word to say tonight, will be caramelize. Oh, the lame cough. It sounds like you've got the same thing. And Andrew's got it too. Oh, shit. Screw the housework. Good attitude. But it's just even down to little things like, going to the shops to get toilet paper or whatever you've got to do. So, yeah, 8 minutes, he reckons. We are at a medium-high heat, and we're just going to fry that until it's caramelized. And he does say to stir it frequently, so I'm stirring it frequently. Although I'm just going to peel the garlic skins off, so when I add all the other ingredients in 8 minutes' time, they'll be good to go into the crusher. Oh, yeah, you've got the masks. At least it's not moist. What is not moist? Oh, the dry cough? At least you're Deb taking it straight into the gutter. What are you cooking for dinner, Deb? I'm going to have to wear a mask for the first time next Saturday. I'm flying. So a friend of mine actually told me she didn't tell me, she suggested that I just get used to wearing a mask this week, like just pop it on every now and then, because it will actually, my cousin was, in fact, he was here over Dark Moto. Oh, no, it was my friend Jo, actually, in Sydney. She just said, if you've got a mask, just start wearing it just so you get used to it, because my cousin Mem said the worst thing about travelling for her was the mask. So that was Jo's suggestion. So, Brizzy's out of restrictions now. Mel didn't even know we had lockdown. Uh-oh, the moist mucus plug. Yes, thank you, Mem. Ooh. Well, I've told you the story. Actually, I've seen a photo of a mucus plug, and I really could have gone to my grave without ever seeing that. So the onion is certainly tenderizing, but it's not caramelizing yet. I'll show it to you again once it's caramelized a little bit. Oh, a bit of sauteed chicken at Deb's house, if anyone's craving a bit of sauteed chicken. Oh, guys, coming up soon on the Shxtty Kitty Kitchen and this channel, I'm making karaage chicken. If any of you are into Japanese food and you eat chicken, you would know that karaage chicken is to die for. I've picked up a recipe. I'm going to be making it very soon. It's essentially like a fried chicken. I'm so excited. I'll be getting some Kewpie mayonnaise and I've also got the Japanese flash fried rice with the egg to do still too. So we're going to be going to Japan for a little while. And the other thing I'm making, well, I'm going to film it tomorrow. I'm making salmon, egg and rice puff pastry parcels. My sissy's coming for dinner tomorrow night. So I'm going to do these beautiful salmon and egg. Like you boil the eggs and slice them up and pop them inside puff pastry along with the salmon and then this beautiful creamy sauce and rice and then bake it. Oh, my God. This is a veggie dish tonight. Yes, it is. I'm trying to make a point of doing at least, well, I try to, at least one veggie dish when I film, but I've just had for the last 2 nights in a row, in fact, the last 3 nights in a row, but all made slightly differently. I've had 3 vegetable stir fries. I had so many veggies to eat, but I didn't bother filming them because it's like, just watch me cut up some veggies and fry them up in a wok and put some. I did one last night. I had the veggies with sesame oil and sesame seeds on top. That was the one I did. On the first night and the second night, I ate the same batch, and I had just veggies with a Thai sort of stir-fry sauce that I made. It was pretty basic. Just some coconut milk, some Thai green curry paste, and I chucked in some garlic and a Spanish onion, and then a heap of veggies. So peanut satay. Oh, it was Grandma Ducky's birthday on the 28th. Did I know that? Everyone's telling me about their birthdays. Like, I know it's Morgan's on the 10th. And shit, now I've forgotten. Someone else in my life today has come their birthday. Well, a lot of July birthdays, actually. But I'm pretty sure I did an early happy birthday for Grandma Ducky. I actually sang happy birthday today on my live for anyone who has a birthday in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So that everyone's covered. Love a bit of Grandma Ducky action. So the onion's still just cooking away. It's not completely caramelized yet, but we're going to be adding quite a few yummy ingredients shortly. Let's chat about curry powder. Now, Yotam suggests for this one to use a mild curry powder or a medium curry powder. No such thing exists in my house. This is actually a jar that Andrew, again, my friend Andrew, he made hot curry powder a few years ago, and I make my own curry powders and just keep them in this cute little jar. So this was the curry powder he made. It had turmeric, chili, cinnamon, cumin, fenugreek, black peppercorns, coriander, ginger, yellow mustard seeds, poppy seeds. And it was back in 2015, and I'm still using this little jar because it's so cute. So I'm using my curry paste, homemade, which is quite a hot one, but a medium is fine. Do what you want. If you don't have any curry powder, you can use a curry paste. Actually, I might use my curry paste. I've still got some of that Madras curry paste floating around, I think. Or did I use it all? This is Bridget Jones searching for curry paste. Oh, here it is. No, that's miso paste. Me so hungry. I just did a massive clean out of my fridge, so everything went back in. I'm actually going to use this Madras curry that featured in my little video the other day, because this is a really beautiful little Tasmania plug. But this curry paste is incredible, so I'm actually going to use that instead of the curry powder. All right, we're starting to get some caramelization action happening now. So by getting the onions caramelized, it will add to the flavor of the soup. By caramelization, when it sort of starts to go a little bit brown, I don't know if you can see in there, but the color's changing a little bit. That's when it's caramelized. Just going to give it another minute because there's still a bit that needs caramelizing. But it adds like a sort of nutty, by caramelizing things, it adds a sort of sweet nutty flavor to dishes. So if a recipe says caramelize it, just do that. So yeah, you can use a curry paste or a powder, whatever you want. Now Ruth, oh, you've looked it up online, did you? T&D curries. We got this when we went to the farmers market the last time down at Brim Creek, and they did actually give me a couple of recipes with it. But it's actually won an Australian Food Awards silver medal in 2018. It's an award-winning Tasmanian curry paste, but it's beautiful. So if you've got some curry paste open in the fridge, use that. Or if you haven't, crack open some curry powder, whatever you've got. All right, this is looking pretty good now, pretty caramelized. See, there's a fair bit of brownage in there. So we'll start to get the other ingredients that we're going to chuck into the pot, starting with some curry. You want a tablespoon of either paste or powder. Aussie, I'm feeding Butthead and listening. Feeding time. I know, I always go live when it's feeding time at the zoo, but that's part of the fun. People pop in and out and say good day, and I just like going, I mean, I cook every night, and I just like going live and showing you what I'm up to. And I definitely want to show you this salmon thing tomorrow because it's yum. Now give the curry powder a bit of a stir through all the curry paste. Oh, gosh, that smells incredible. This is such a good curry paste. I love it. We're going to crush a couple of cloves of garlic as well. I'm just going to take that off the heat for a sec because the heat's pretty high. And I'm chatting too much. I'll pop it back on and just focus on the ingredients, and I'll come back to chat in a sec. Oh, I've just put garlic all over the place. So that was 2 cloves of crushed garlic. I love my new garlic crusher, by the way, guys. Oh, yes, I do. We're also going to add some chili flakes. Now, if you don't have chili flakes, chili powder will do too, but with chili powder and chili flakes, they can make a dish super hot. So because I'm using, or the Madras curry paste actually isn't in that hot, it's kind of a medium. So I will put a 1/4 teaspoon. But if you don't like super hot, you can leave the chili out or do 1/8 teaspoon. This little spoon collection has actually got an 1/8 teaspoon mix. Now, I'm actually going to take that off for a sec because I do need to chop up the ginger. I should have done this before I went live. With ginger, holy shit, I had no idea how expensive it is. This piece of ginger that I bought, I went through the checkout, like a self-checkout, and punched in ginger. This was, I'll show you the garlic press in a minute, Ruth. I'm under the pump at the moment. This was $7, this piece of bloody ginger. So I'm making lots of ginger teas at the moment and lemon. It was bigger. It was out to like here. $7. But ginger, keep it in a container in your fridge with wet paper towel and like a lid that you can seal it up. It'll last for weeks and weeks and weeks. But you do need to change the paper towel over and keep it damp. So check it every couple of days. You don't have to change the paper towel every single time, but you do need to keep it damp. But we're just going to quickly do this, and then I'll show you the other things in a sec. This is kind of the critical building the flavours part of the cook. Now, I was going to show you that you can actually peel ginger really easily with a teaspoon, but I'm going to leave that because, yeah, I want to get the base of the soup happening, and then I'll show you the garlic press in a sec. hold your horses. But yeah, $7. I couldn't believe it. Now, if you don't have fresh ginger, you can use the powdered ginger. Again, like whatever you've got works. It's a soup, right? And you're not feeding the queen, so don't go into a decline. You quite often will have everything you need in your spices in your kitchen, so just use them. But I'm just going to get the ginger chopped up. Oh, I just flicked my camera off. Sorry, we're back. So we want about a 4 centimetre piece of ginger. I mean, I'm just kind of doing that much. Still a little bit of skin on there that I'll scrape up with the knife. And you want to finely chop the ginger. Like, I love ginger, but I can't handle the texture of it. So I chop the crap out of it. I don't like how it's kind of stringy. I usually use powdered ginger, to be honest, but not when I've got a $7 piece of friggin' ginger in my fridge. If you want to make a really nice tea for when you're not feeling well, put like a cup of water or a cup and a half of water, like a teacup and a half, in a little saucepan with some slices of ginger and lemon peel and a bit of lemon juice, and then put some honey in the bottom of the teacup, and you just put that on the stove and boil it for like a couple of minutes. Don't serve it with the ginger or the lemon rind, but it's a really good homemade thing. Yeah, jar ginger too is really good. But I grabbed the ginger and then I paid for it because I was in the self-checkout. I didn't know how to cancel it. I mean, I suppose I could have got one of the girls to come over and help me, but anyway, let me just finish chopping this up, and you've got to stir for a couple of minutes and get all these beautiful flavors combining. So I just want to do this little bit, and then I'll have a bit of a chat. Well, I'll keep assembling. It's a soup, so we'll just assemble the soup and then we can chat all night if we want. Okay. I'm going to do one more fine chop and then we'll chuck that in. But we're going to fry all of these beautiful aromats together for a couple of minutes. So don't forget, in the pot we've got the coconut oil, an onion that we've actually fried for about 8 minutes so that it's actually caramelized. And we've added to that a tablespoon of curry powder or curry paste, whatever you're working with, some chili flakes, 2 crushed garlic cloves and ginger. But you do want to let all of these flavors sort of mix together and create this beautiful, delicious, spicy base for your soup. It's crazy expensive, Ruth. Shalom, Ian Ellis. So this is, I'll give you a bit of a look of how it's all coming on. It's just incredibly beautiful, the flavours coming out of this pot. We'll start adding other ingredients now that the ginger's had a bit of a burl. So next up, a can of lentils. Like I said, I just bought them. I did buy packet lentils, the split ones. You need to boil them for about 10 minutes and you've got to keep skimming scuzz off the top. This was heaps easier. I just poured the tin into a strainer, drained them and then rinsed them and got rid of all the lentil jizz. Now, if you use tinned lentils and you're draining them and washing them, rinsing them, you will get a foam sitting up on top. So you keep rinsing till the foam, the jizz, as I call it, disappears. So that's a tin of lentils that's going in. My kitchen smells amazing. Give that a minute of stirring. I haven't forgotten the garlic press, Ruth. We'll just assemble the soup because it's got to cook for like 20 minutes. Now, he does say stirring continuously, but I'm having a sip of my red wine. It does smell heavenly. It's incredible. Raja do frozen crushed ginger cubes. Nice. You could be feeding the Queen, Aussie, you could. Deb, I started using the bottled stuff as ginger at the supermarket. It was never fresh and expensive. Was really fresh, but it was also fucking expensive. $7. I just stood there going, oh, shit. Oh, well, I'm committed. Okay, next we're going to chuck in a tin of tomatoes. I'm just using diced tomatoes. You can use crushed. If you want to use whole tomatoes, chop them up a little bit before you pop them in the soup because you don't want to be ladling soup into your mouth and getting a whole tomato. My friend Andrew actually added a second tin of tomatoes just to bulk it up a bit more. And I reckon I'm going to do the same. You probably get another serve or two just by adding another can of tomatoes as well. But I also wanted to get that in because it was starting to become a bit of a dry pan. Get a bit of liquid in so it can all just sit there and do things happily for a minute. The next thing, and I will be chatting with you guys very soon properly, the next thing is coriander stalks. Now, most people, if they buy a bunch of coriander, they just use the leaves, but we're actually going to be using the stalks. These have got incredible flavour. So I'm just going to slice off all the stalks. We're going to be using coriander leaves as well, but these are going to go into the soup, and you just chop them like chives. But they add a beautiful flavour, unless you don't like coriander. But people that don't like coriander leaves don't really have a problem with the stalks, I find. The secret for me with coriander is I don't like the leaves when they're intact, but if they're chopped really finely, I think they have a beautiful flavour. So we're going to add those. Give that a bit of a stir, and now we're going to add 600 mils of water. So there is extra liquid in there that I had forgotten about. My God, this smells incredible. So 600 mils, there is 600 mils in there, but when I tilt it, you can't see 600 mils of water. Okay, we can relax now that there's lots of liquid in there, and a healthy chunk of salt, about a teaspoon. I just do it by hand out of my little salt pig. And as Yotam says, a shitload of cracked black pepper. He doesn't say a shitload. He says, and a very generous grind of pepper. Ooh. I love pepper. I'm always really generous with pepper anyway. But you're speaking my language, Yotam. All right, Ski. That is looking absolutely amazing. Hang on, I'll show it to you. Can you see how pretty that is? With those little green coriander stalks especially. It's a very pretty little oop. Now, here's the weird part of the recipe. I've never done this before, ever. I'm trying to think what bowl I'll use. This one, maybe. Oh, and I'll show you the garlic crusher before I do this next part. So it has got garlic in it because I just crushed it. Let me just get rid of that. I'll give it a quick rinse. So it's very similar to the one my mum had. It's very heavy, which you need because you want it to have a bit of force behind it. But it's a really basic, I'm just giving it a dry if you're wondering what I'm doing. It's a really basic concept, and they work a treat, and it's very similar to my mum's. My mum actually, hers had rubber grips on the handle, but it's literally just, sorry, it's still a bit grubby, but it's literally just garlic goes in there and forces it through. And then when you go to clean it, there's this little grid on this side and you flip it around that way and it pushes all the garlic through, so it's easy to remove. See? Look at that. And it cost $10. So I'm over the moon. I finally have, and it also holds a couple of cloves at a time. So I'm very happy. I'm going to pop the oven on too in a minute. Well, not yet. I'll do this thing first. We're going to be whisking some coconut milk. Now, I've never done this before, ever. It's kind of weird. But there must be a reason to it. Yotam doesn't make us do weird things for no reason. These cans of coconut milk are super cheap. They're really good, but they're a pain in the ass to open. My can opener hates them. Although it's actually done really well this time. I'll just get rid of the lid. The lid, this can opener sucks. The lids sink into the whatever you've opened. I used to have one that had a little magnet on it that would keep the lid away from whatever. It was from Coles, Aussie. And it was $10. Like when Mum's broke, I have tried 3 or 4, as you know, different ones. And then there's a section, like an aisle in Coles, that they've got this sort of cookware. And I spotted it, and it was $10. And it's exactly like my, well, it's not exactly. It's exactly the same concept as my mum's. The only difference is it doesn't have rubber grips. But, I mean, it doesn't need it. It's stylish as fuck. Morgan sent you an electric can opener. It's amazing. My mum and dad used to have one of those. I've got such limited bench space. But they're bloody awesome. I used to love my mum and dad's one. And that used to had a little magnet that used to have the lid still attached. You probably open a shitload more cans than I do too, Mel. So what we're going to do next is we've opened up the coconut milk. And we're going to leave about 4 tablespoons of coconut milk in the can because we're going to use that when serving. So put nearly all of it in. I don't actually need to keep 4 tablespoons because I've got a couple of little miniature coconut milk cans that I can use when I eat this soup for lunch and stuff like that. Oh, it's compact and battery operated. Oh, how cool. And we're going to whisk it. We're whisking coconut milk until it's smooth and creamy. Well, it's already smooth. So I don't know what this is going to do. And he says to whisk it gently. I'm wondering if it's because the coconut milk he uses comes and it's, you know, the old cans that have the shitloads of water and then just a little bit of coconut down the bottom and you've got to mix it together. I don't know, but I'm curious to see if this makes a difference. And I'm not whisking it gently either. But I'm wondering if it's, I mean, I don't know, because coconut milk, when you get it, when it's water on top and the coconut's down the bottom, you just give it a really good shake. Now the soup's just happily cooking over here. This is the last ingredient, by the way. So it's pretty simple. And if I hadn't have been chatting, we would have assembled all of this in about 15 minutes. I really can't tell any difference. I mean, it's smooth. It's creamy. Look, fuck it. It's going in. It's Sunday night. Not standing here whisking coconut milk for 20 minutes. Won't it be amazing if I eat the soup and I'm like, oh my God, that whisked coconut milk has made all the difference. So we're just going to add that, and then we want to bring this up to the boil. And then it needs to simmer for about 20-25 minutes. I generally, interesting, good, hey, smell me something good. Grandma Ducky, hello. It's a vegetarian soup tonight, gorgeous. Bit of curried lentil, tomato and coconut. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well from a distance, but it's a beautiful, hang on, I'll show you again. It's a beautiful red creamy soup and it's got those beautiful little pops of green from the coriander stalks. But we're just going to crank this up a tiny bit and get it up to a boil, and then we're going to drop it down to medium heat and let it simmer for 25 minutes. But because the lentils were tinned, I don't actually think we need to do it for that long, but I will heat it up just to let it simmer. And I need to get the oven happening so I can do the bread. 200 degrees for the oven. And it's Sunday night, so I am not baking bread. I did actually Google a couple of his flatbread recipes and read a few in the books of his that I've got, and I was like, I'm not making flatbread on a Sunday night. So I've just bought some of those ready to bake at home white dinner rolls that you literally whack the oven up to 200. What's 200 for you guys? 400 Fahrenheit roughly, 375, something like that. But these cook and get really crunchy really quickly, and they're just delicious with lots of butter on them. So Sunday night cooking, and I don't eat a lot of bread, but these are just perfect, especially to have soup for lunch for the next couple of days. I'll take a load of it to work with me on Tuesday, and I'm going to have it for lunch tomorrow as well. There's no lamb, Grandma Ducky. I promise you, baby girl. All right, we're nearly up to the boil. I might tidy up the bench a little bit while this is just simmering. I'm not going to boil it for 25 minutes. The lentils came out of a tin. If you had rinsed like split lentils, dried lentils, you probably would want them to cook for about 25 minutes. But you do need to give them a really good rinse because they do have a lot of little bits and pieces that you need to like rinse them properly, like give them a really good strain, or boil them for about 10 minutes and take all the scuzz off the top and then just chuck them in, and they won't need 25 minutes. I just need like 10 minutes. You do want all the flavours to mingle. This is so yummy. Now, this soup, like I said, if you wanted to, you could blitz it, but this is going to be served chunky. Thank the heavens above. I thought you'd be happy, Grandma Ducky. I did actually think about you when I was choosing what I was going to do tonight. But soups are good too, like to bake on a Sunday, because then you've got lunches or dinners sorted. Like a lot of people who work on Mondays, they get home Monday night and they don't necessarily want to cook. So if you make a beautiful pot of soup on Sunday, have it for dinner Sunday night and then have it for dinner Monday night. Deb, I love those rolls. I make Locke cocktail sausage in them, and he thinks they are wonderful. They are wonderful. I don't buy them very often, but I was looking at all the flatbread recipes and thinking, I don't know if I can be bothered with flatbreads and yeast and all that sort of shit on a Sunday night. And I was like, bugger it. This is honest cooking here. We don't have to make everything from scratch all the time. I love dinner rolls. I have a few rolls myself. Yeah, I've got a few rolls. We've all got a few rolls. Well, no, probably not everyone, but I do. But yes, no lamb. And in fact, Grandma Ducky, for the next few days on the menu, I'm going to be doing this amazing salmon, egg and puff pastry and rice dish. My sister's coming for dinner tomorrow night. It's going to be making that. I'm also soon going to make some karaage chicken. If anyone loves Japanese Teriyaki chicken is beautiful. And I'm also going to do another vegetarian dish fairly soon, which is that Japanese flash fried rice with an egg. Deb, you can tell Grandma Ducky what lock is. Just watching the oven. It needs to get up to 200. I'm just going to put a few things off my bench so the cleanup's not too crazy. I'm just going to rinse out the tins and put them in the recycling. Actually, on the Lockie thing, my friend Ange, who married we're boiling, by the way, so I'm just going to turn that down so that it just simmers just for like 10 minutes. We've got the bread rolls to heat up, but also simmering it will make it thicken a little bit. It'll reduce it a bit. But yeah, Lock. So my friend Ange married an American Marine, and they chose the name Lachlan for their son as well. But because it's more commonly spelled Lachlan, Americans, when they were telling them Lachlan and showing how it was written, they're going, oh, Lachlan, that's an unusual name. So they ended up spelling it Lochlan. And now a lot of the Americans, when he's enrolled at school and stuff, they call him Lachlan. But it's a fine Scottish name, and he's a Lockie, but he's an Lochie because, yeah, they were calling him, like, when they were saying his name's going to be Lachlan and showing how to write it, they're going, oh, Lachlan. And now they say Lachlan. And they go, no, like the Loch Ness Monster, Loch. Scottish, Loch, Loch, Loch. Let's catch and eat. All right, let's catch and eat the Loch Ness Monster. Why not? So, but your Lockie's in LA, isn't he, Deb? An LACH. One more can. At least I've got the recycling out of the way. I'm just looking for little jobs. Oh no, I've got... Bring this over. Yes, that's another thing too. Like in Tasmania, there is a suburb called Lachlan, but it's pronounced Lachlan. So it's spelled like most people would spell Lachlan. What's in the pot, please? There's soup. It's curried lentil, tomato, and coconut soup, thanks to Yotam Ottolenghi, who we love. I'm just going to chop up some coriander. I'm finding little jobs to do while we're simmering our soup and the oven is warming up. And I'm just tidying as I go. Tidy as I go. You guys are all very chatty. So in the pot, Grandma Ducky, I'll just quickly run through what we did. First up, we put a couple of tablespoons of coconut oil and we chopped up an onion and cooked it for about 8 minutes so that it softened and also caramelized to give it that beautiful sort of sweet, nutty flavour. Then we added, I added a tablespoon of a Madras curry paste, but you could also use a tablespoon of a curry powder. Go with what taste you like. I like hot, but if you want to go medium, you can. Then there was a quarter of a teaspoon of chili flakes, 2 garlic cloves, which we crushed, and then a 4 centimetre piece of ginger, which I peeled and I finally chopped that. 4 centimetres works out to like 30 grams, and if you're trying to picture 30 grams, think of an old-fashioned matchbox. And we cooked all of that in the coconut oil and got all the beautiful flavours coming out, all the aromats, got it all mixed in together. Then I added a tin of red lentils that I had drained and rinsed. And you need to rinse all the lentil jizz off the top. Then the recipe says 400-gram tin of tomatoes, but my friend Andrew, who recommended this recipe, said he put in a second tin just to add a bit more tomato to it. So I did the same thing. And then we added coriander stalks that we finely chopped up. So the ends of these got chopped up. And then we added almost a whole tin of coconut milk. We reserved a little because we're going to drizzle that on the top at the end. And that's it. Oh, sorry, and a shitload of salt and pepper. Ducky, the longer I can't do this video, the more I think to put in it. If I wait till 2022, it'll be a movie. Is this for Grandma Ducky's birthday movie? Cute. Speaking of birthdays, I rang my friend Beck this afternoon. It's her birthday. Just going to finally chop up some coriander to go on top. It's got to be finely chopped for me. Some people are happy just to put I'm going to use that bigger block, the leaves on. Gross, can't do that. It's got to be finely chopped for Tori, but you do what you like. I love the flavour of coriander or cilantro when it's finely chopped, but the leaves, the texture, yuck. But you go with whatever works for you. You couldn't hear me. Are you not able to hear me? Have I been live and chatting and not speaking the whole time? Well, not audible. Oh, shit, I've just realised the microphone is behind the laptop. Are you able to hear me at all, guys, or is it really bad? Because I set up the microphone, but to push the laptop out of the screen, I've got my laptop like opened flat and leaning up against my kitchen wall. You can hear me? Oh, cool. All right. That microphone's doing a great job because it's behind a laptop. So good mic. Finally chopping this coriander. Now, hopefully Anne-Marie, who was in here earlier, she's going to teach me how to download my videos to my phone because I really love the editor on my phone. I've got an editor on my laptop, but it's quite complex and tricky. All right, finely chopped coriander. Happy Tori. I'll just put that in a little dish. Ducky's always naughty. That's why we love her. She's funny. She's funny like Sunny, who's spent 98% of the day asleep on my bed because that's what Sunny does in winter. Sunny knows she's a cat. She sleeps all day. Biscuit wanted to party all day because she was a dog or a human. Ducky is adorable. Okay, so the oven is now heated to 200. We're going to whack in a couple of rolls. Just use a little baking tray. I'll just do a couple. So these are little bread rolls and they only take 3 to 5 minutes to bake, but on a pretty hot oven. 200 fan force, 220 if not. So we're just going to chuck them in. Get some butter. I'm pretty sure the thing said 3 to 5 minutes. Yep. Or until golden brown. The assembly station. Get these things out of the way. No, don't ever behave, Grandma Ducky, or I'll have to block you. Oh, you like snacking on coriander, Ruth? Wow, that's odd. I love using it in cooking, but I have to chop it really fine. I used to skimp it. If a recipe had coriander, I used to use parsley, and then I discovered one day that you can chop the crap out of it and it becomes an enjoyable herb. And that's what I do now, and I love it. Have we eaten the flamingo yet? No, it's still out there, being a watering can. It's a hard working one. So it's quite a thin, so like it's chunky, but it's got a decent amount of liquid in it. You'd probably get, he says 4 serves, but for me, like I don't have a massive appetite at night. I like to eat a bigger lunch. So I probably will get 6 serves out of this, especially when I take it into town for work, for lunch. And we've got a little oven at work that I'll be able to do the bread in. Yeah, fennel. I could munch on fennel for sure. You've missed a few videos, Grandma Ducky. Coriander, you guys and your big words. Cilantro, Dale. Cilantro. Coriander is cilantro. I don't know why countries have different words for the same foods. Like what we call an eggplant, you call an aubergine. What we call a zucchini, you call a courgette. What we call coriander, you call cilantro. It gets confusing for everyone. This smells so good, guys. Yum. And it's a yachim. I'm just going to have a little taste test to see if it requires any additional seasonings. I doubt it because it's got curry paste and chili and garlic and onion. It actually needs, oh, God, that's good. It needs, oh, yum. I'm going to put, it's a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper in. I just want it to have a bit more bolshiness. It's really yummy, but I just want it to have a bit of an extra boost. Another thing that would be really yummy with it is to just drizzle some lemon juice over the top of it. It's not under-seasoned, but I want it to be a bit more robust. We're too fancy for you. No one ever calls Australians fancy. Oh, and my promise to Joey Wilson, every time I go live, anytime anyone's in a chat on YouTube, if you see anybody, just checking the bread, perpetuating the rumour that Joey and Space Monster are the same person, it is your duty to her to let everyone know that they are very different people. So, yes, I know that you guys all know that, but it's just a reminder. Yeah, we did the salt out of the salt pig. But, yeah, poor Joey was really upset earlier. And doing the dishes with Dave is what I called him, Mel. I don't know. He's a Chris Watts channel. He's an Australian dude. Joey did a video about him. There's a rumour you're tiny hands. Nah. There was a rumour that I was NewsTubers Live, and then I did a live saying, okay, confession, I am, after I'd been on a panel with her, and people still believed it. And then NewsTubers messaged me and said, I'm getting trolled. Can you change the title of your video? So I did. Tiny Hands has been around forever. Tiny Hands has been around a long time. Tiny Hands is pretty funny. So I'd take it as a compliment, Mel. It'd be worse if someone was accusing you of being an asshole. better than your nickname of man hands. Yeah, see, I feel like in winter, because I've got pale hands from, my winter Tasmanian tan, I feel like my hands are man hands. It was discussed in some Discord group called, well, God. Well, I'd take it as a compliment because tiny hands is funny. Like, I'd rather be accused of being, like, I was quite happy to be the rumour with me and newstubers because newstubers has got a sense of humour. But if it was some angry bastard, you'd be pissed off, right? I forgot about me bread rolls. They're probably really crunchy now. I know. I'm going to give them another minute or two. They're not as brown as I'd like them. I want them gold brown and piping hot. Yeah, Discord's a nightmare. Who'd want to be part of a Discord? I was in one for about 11 minutes. I shared a story in there that I said, I don't want this to be made public. And within 10 minutes, the creator of that Discord went live and shared that story. Discord, don't even ask, Grandma Ducky. You do not want to know. Stay innocent and sweet. I'm just going to put my $783,000 blob of ginger back in the fridge. Yeah, you're better off not knowing anything about Discord. It's Discord by name, Discord by nature. There's nothing good comes out of Discord ever. And all these people that are in Discords and sharing all this stuff, and then they fall apart, and suddenly all these private chat screenshots come out, and Discord is a server. It used to be like primarily a gamers server, and it's kind of like the old-fashioned internet forums with a main chat room and then little private chat rooms, and that's kind of what it is. But yeah, nothing good ever comes out of a Discord. Just stay away. All right, I'm going to turn the soup off because it's good to go and it smells divine. In fact, it's piping hot. So let's ladle that up while the bread finishes cooking. And I always, with soup, with a ladle, I always get like a lot of the chunk and drain off some of the liquid. This is hearty and full of flavour, I've got to say. And it didn't blow my tits off either, the chili curry aspect of it. But it's a Madras curry, which is kind of like a medium one. It's not like a hardcore one. But yeah, I'll probably get 6 or maybe even 7 meals out of this. And you can freeze this soup for up to a month. So there it is naked before I dress it. But it's a gorgeous, rich tomato-coloured soup. And then we're going to drizzle some of that coconut milk that we reserved in the tin. The rest of this I'll put into like a little container in the fridge next to the tub of soup. And whenever I make soup, I will put a little drizzle of coconut milk and then some fresh coriander on top. Can you see that, guys? Birdie nom nom. Now I reckon the bread will be just about perfect. My little rolls. Oh, they're piping hot. Oh, what was that? I guess I don't. What was that? I missed it. I got blocked for a channel saying I'm not here to fuck spiders. I've used that expression on YouTube too, and I don't think I got called weird, but they were like, huh? I'm sure there are some Discords that are fine, but most end up being gossip places and screenshots. Exactly. I'm supposed to be one for wire wrapping. No, the Discord actually made my laptop, and I've got a really good laptop. like a very new one and like an excellent one. But Discord actually fucks with my laptop. So another reason I'm happy to not have Discord. Oh, these are piping hot and burny. But I'm just going to put lashings of butter because it's Sunday night. And who doesn't love lashings of butter and hot bread with soup on a Sunday night? Or any night of the week, to be honest. Lashings of butter. Oh, I saw your comment, Ruth, too, about these little butter knives. I'm using another one of them. I mean, it's a similar one to the one I used the other day. But, yeah, these little butter knives are the best. But, yeah, you want lots of yummy, melty butter in your little bread rolls. See the little melty butter happening in there? Get that out of the way. I'll get this out of the way. I'm really happy with my dinner. And if I hadn't have been chattering away on YouTube, they would have all been cooked pretty quickly. It's a pretty easy recipe, especially if you're using the tinned lentils and stuff like that. Didn't take long at all. Even the bread, like 5 minutes. Oh, of course it's Duck River butter, Deb. Is there any other butter on the planet? Guys, this is porn when it comes to butter. This is porn.